It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off, it's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through! He's just gonna solidify everything within those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes the Nablet immediately goes back to fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3, so back and forth.
And welcome everybody, one and all. We are here for the Season 14 Mid-Season Playoffs, EU PC Open Semifinals. I am Thousand Eyes here alongside Megalas, and we hopefully have a banger series of games for you today. Mega, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. We got to come off the other side of this bracket earlier this morning. Was a fun game to spectate and behold here as we actually get a look at our full schedule. Like I said, 0907 claiming that victory, already sitting in this EU PC Open Grand Finals, awaiting their opponent from this match between TEC and Everfrog. But the action doesn't stop there. CGL Madness, Midseason Madness, it just keeps on giving. You got a lovely game against 2 team names, one of which I call Microwave Noises. The other is T-Tar Fan at 8 p.m. And then Dackerson versus Mental Institution. That should be an amazing match at 9 EST tonight. So just again, more and more CGL games coming your way.
Absolutely. Lots of content for everyone tonight. Why don't we take a look at how the teams got here, though? As you can see, TEC, a pretty easy 3-0 into the semifinals, but Everfrog did have to fight a little bit for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately a very telling thing, right? Everybody else who made it to this top 4 seemed to have coasted through. Everfrog got stuck in a gauntlet of a series, but all that matters is a win at the end of the day. It shows that they're scrappy, they're resilient, and they're willing to take it all the way if they need to here. Which is something they're going to have to do against this TEC squad, currently undefeated in our regular season, looking very dominant, very strong throughout this first half of CGL, but they got to keep it going here.
Yeah, I mean, and they're used to a fight, so hopefully they can scrap it out, get some wins here. But I mean, like you said, it is a little bit worrying just to see, like, oh, the one team that had to fight here now going up against an undefeated squad. A little David versus Goliath kind of storyline here.
Yeah, I mean, it's about as standard as you get there for that. But, you know, on the side of TEC, I mean, why are they undefeated? Why are they this dominant squad right now? It's pretty simple. There's this player, don't know if you've heard of him, called Clobber. They're playing Venture, only Venture. Which you wouldn't think works in this meta that we exist in, but TEC, they've carved out a niche for it, they've made it their style, and they've made themselves look dominant on it time and again, the rest of the team playing around the Venture play flawlessly here. But, you know, when you have that exploitable weakness, Thousand Eyes, it can be a little bit worrying, right? Because sure, you're really good on Venture, but if you can find a team to counter it, where do you go from there?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, just in the games I was casting last night, we had an issue of a Sombra being a problem, and the only answer was to respond with a Sombra in kind. And I don't know if that's really going to work out the same way. Why don't we take a look, though, at our lineups that we have for the teams here. First, starting off with Everfrog, where we do have Unto, Lee Y, Nevish, 200 Pixels, and Zoom.
Yeah, this Everfrog Everfrog squad, like we said, they're scrappy. They're willing to fight it out until the bitter end, and that's, it's a very good trait to have, right? Because sure, it's one thing to dominate and just crush your opponents in 3-0, but to be willing to, go the distance in the series, have that energy and momentum to play it out across all 5 maps, never giving up hope. I mean, that's something to be admired and something some teams absolutely need in these high-pressure matches.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to be going up against, like we said, TEC. So we'll take a look at the roster there. Just going to include Enteni, Klobber, like you mentioned, Johannes, and Freg and Ackerman, 32.
Yeah, I mean, a super stacked lineup here as we are just looking at how good this squad is. We can't sing their praises enough. We've already touched on it. Undefeated so far. They have not suffered a loss. I think they've only dropped 1 map as well throughout their first half of the season here. Yeah, I mean, it's a scary squad to go up against. And again, it's been off the back of Klobber's venture play, sort of creating space, letting the rest of the team work and do as they please.
Yeah, and I mean, that is just like a question now, like what do you do against that here, especially coming up on our first map here. We're going to be going to Control, as is tradition here for our first map. I believe we are going to be heading to Samoa for our first Control map, which, is interesting here because at least in my experience, for the most part, it has been very hit or miss on Samoa. Teams can go really, really hard and just control the point, and it's a little difficult to fight off sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about this control pool, right? It's being set by the round here. In Samoa, like you said, it's been very sort of team-oriented in terms of like a lot of brawl comps we've seen across all 3 points of Samoa. Earlier today, we got treated to a little bit of dive courtesy of Big Ballers, but yeah, I mean, just it seems to be all about being able to circle that point, keep yourself sustained and healthy on the objective while the other team sort of tries to fight their way in against you. So, when you're in those sort of setups, it's all the more crucial, all the more important to see who's actually able to get these first point caps and be able to get onto the objective to establish that presence first.
Exactly. Your tempo is everything, and TEC seem to know a lot about it. Everfrog may need to take some time to learn, but we are getting into our first map here. We're going to be loading up and see exactly how things are going to shake out.
Yep, starting on the volcano, what I like to call the Apex Legends point, because it reminds me so much of that game. I've been playing a lot of it lately, courtesy of a very bad friend who's taking me down a dark path, but that's another story for another time. Focusing here on what we see, probably an initial TP from Klobber before heading over to that venture. A bit of an adaptation from TEC on our standard meta. You have the Juno in play, but Ackerman going to be on the Baptiste, providing that extra healing instead of the typical Brigitte. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Everfrog, they're going to play fast and loose. They've got the speed boost with the Lucio and Junker Queen ready to deal some damage.
Yeah, they're also running the Junkrat as well, looking to just take as much space as they can here. Nevish moving forward, the Orisa pushing them away, and already TEC seem to have control here, and Everfrog stuck, not able to move forward. They're losing members immediately, and Teddy gone. Johanna's also about to fall, and TEC just not able to get in on this first push. Everfrog seem to have a little bit of control.
Yeah, the Orisa getting chunked down is massive here, and it was now just a cleanup effort here. A little bit split from TEC, a non-normal bit of a stagger out from them here. And it might be the Junkrat throwing them from a loop, right? You have so much extra damage coming out from that primary fire, those nades just being chucked in over and over. It might make it a little bit more difficult for TEC to stay stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, Johanna's trying to move back in. They're pushing on to the point. May already using all the cooldowns immediately here, and even using out this invincibility. They are not able to make it work, though, as both DPS already gone. Unto traded for that, but with the tank gone, again, Everfrog, they hold strong.
I love the Marty Dome kill, and then the all part of my plan, because clearly all Junkrat players are secretly masterminds of that. But yeah, that's going to be another fight win here for Everfrog. They're now building up to some pretty solid ultimates across both teams here. You might see Everfrog try to go first with these, even though they have the point control. They still might want to be the aggressors, because if they let TEC approach with some of these tools, it's going to be over.
Tenny going in. We're already seeing ults used. Frag has used theirs, but not going to get much out of it. And again, TEC just pushed away. Unto falls again, but again, that's the only person Everfrog are seeming to lose in these fights.
Yeah, but I mean, that fight they did lose in the ult exchange at the very least, right? Kitsune Rush, Rampage, and Tyre all invested just for the Orbital Ray on the other side of things here. So clear advantage is in TEC's favor, but they do now have to juggle and touch onto the objective as we're taking towards that final fight area.
Yeah, exactly. Running out of time. There is the Baptiste involved taken out. Levi getting a lot of work done with this Genji blade, and again, it is just pushed back again and again. I don't think Everfrog are even going to be able to, or I don't think TEC rather, are going to be able to even touch this point. It has been complete control. No overtime has actually been ticked over. Clobber trying to get back over because it has been Johannes who actually just takes it. I don't understand how that even worked.
I mean, the Orisa went to point and just a massive HP pool was not able to be removed here. And now as the fight's continuing, you're seeing everybody on Everfrog drop incredibly low. They have to get back and reset.
Yeah, Johannes needing some heals really fast here. Will get back up to full health. And Everfrog, they get pushed away. They're on 99%, but they've got to claim the point back if they want to get this round one.
We will have to see. Ooh, that tire though.
That's a big tire, and 3 down already for TEC. And TEC trying to use the Juno ult to do something here. Nemesh getting the last members, and they're going to claim the point. They're going to claim round number 1. And despite a little bit of a mix-up near the end, a pretty solid round 1, all things considered.
Yeah, and I think what you notice there is the punishment that was coming through onto the backline, right? Normally you run the Brig Juno in this meta because the Brig has to act as a bodyguard, but she can also peel for herself. So with that whip shot, get assailants off of her and let her live throughout the fight, providing healing constantly. The Baptiste can't do that as effectively, simply just a nice little hop he has in his kit. And, you know, time and again, we were watching the side of Everfrog, you know, punish that Baptiste, get that healing out of the fight here. So it is going to be some adjustments now from the side of TEC. They've gone over to a bit of a Winston comp here. That way they can keep playing with the Kiriko. They're going to have the Echo in tow as well here, but we have to see if they can actually execute these dives onto the targets they want. Meanwhile, at the last minute, we have a Reinhardt on the field.
We have a Reinhardt. We have a Hanzo. Things are getting interesting. Just going directly on to the monkey. Nevish already, actually, Johannes just goes down. That's the tank line already gone for TEC and Everfrog. Again, a great start, and I don't think they even really have to take much of the rest of this fight. They can just grab the point as soon as it unlocks.
They will be able to do just that here with an extra picks from the Kiriko. The headshots are doing exactly what they need to here, and Everfrog, you know, despite being the underdogs, have definitely come out with a very clear and decisive strategy across this first map.
Wow, just I mean, talk about like coming in at a level we were not expecting. I think it's fair to say both of us were ready for this to be TEC, at least strongly coming out of here. Now already we're seeing them feel a little bit on the back burner. They just don't seem prepared, and they've been pushed off pretty heavily. Again, Johannes goes down, and there is not much to do past that. Without the Winston, there's no space to take it. Everfrog, again, their defense holds true.
And this is just, again, it's very uncharacteristic for TEC. Johannes is super weak, constantly dying. But now to the spawn room.
Yeah, they're already in there, and they're trading a little bit lackadaisical here. I think losing out on Nevish is a pretty big deal, especially now that Johannes is back up. Stick onto the monkey. Johannes will go down. Levi, great moves on the Tracer. Going to recall for the health. And again, even though they lose their tank, Everfrog find a way to hold out strong here. Clobber trades 1 for 1, but 1 for 1 is not enough right now.
And TEC is completely spawn held right now. I mean, this is an absolute look that have never seen from them. They completely look lost. They're being shut down left, right, and center. They're finally able to retake some map space here as the emote is coming. The shatter, you know it's online and it wants to be delivered.
Well,
and
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Don't know what you're talking about. Now just going to move in. Shatter onto a couple here. Take out 3 right away. Make it 4. And it's just Clobber on the point here trying to go for the 1v1. Will get it, but the rest of the team is there, and they are going to keep their point safe. Round 2, even easier for Everfrog. They're going to take map number 1.
I mean, I just had to go check the numbers just to make sure I was not crazy. That was the 3rd map all season long that TEC has lost here. And
wow,
when I tell you that was a brutal fashion as well, I mean, they simply, you know, they're normally a team that looks very in control. They like to set the tempo and go fast with this venture play, but they were stifled at every single turn. It wasn't just Clobber that was stopped. Johanna's, you know, almost looked like, I would say, somebody playing on like the Nintendo Switch when it first came out or something. It's just absolutely unfortunate seeing that tank reset time and again there.
Yeah, I mean, and now I think especially this just puts TEC in an uncomfortable position, because the thing is too, like you said, they've only lost 3. Have any of them been first map? Like, have any of them swung out and taken the first map? Because if not, this is just very unknown territory for TEC here.
No, it's never been first map. They had to stifle. They lost 2nd and 3rd map, but they've never lost the first map here. And again, we talk about just how dominant it was from Everfrog here. They came in with a clear game plan with their Junker Queen. The Reinhardt, it almost felt like Everfrog had like an insane amount of confidence behind them. You know, they stopped relying on like necessarily like the highest level of team synergy and instead just went for picks, right? Because we also saw the Hanzo come out getting value, things like that. I mean, you know, Everfrog, they're absolutely playing with house money, but they're more than willing to do it.
Exactly, yeah. And now Everfrog like coming out just swinging and in a beautiful position right now. We do have confirmation of what our next map is going to be. We're going to be going to Midtown here.
The Midtown is in play. You don't want to take this to a dive. TEC, they never look as comfortable on dive as they do some of their other picks, but I mean, again, that doesn't really seem to stifle Everfrog in the slightest, right? They were playing Brawl across both those points on Samoa, so this is just more and more of their wheelhouse instead of the Hollywood or Paris, so that could have come up here. So sure, TEC picked their best map, but I feel like their opponents are more than happy with it on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just like a level of comfort across the board, right? Like no one's unfamiliar here, and hopefully that means TEC can just play standard, get back to their game here, because they've got to get their feet back under them. I obviously we've never seen them in a down 2-0 situation. That is very possible here, and based on the trajectory that we've seen today, kind of likely.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with these undefeated teams. You know, they never really get a chance to test their mental, test how far they can go. So this could be a good litmus test to see if they'll crumble or under the pressure or rise above it. Coughlin being subbed in on that DPS role, as we highlighted there on the graphic. But, you know, maybe that could be the difference, right? And normally we see this swap come out for them simply because to need more of like a Mei Echo 2 trick player. You see Coughlin come in when they want something more standard, potentially some hit scanner, even some tracer in the mix, is generally why this substitution comes through. The defense we can actually see, and I refuse to believe this is the real defensive plan. Like, surely somebody's going to magically get back to spawn. But no, I mean, Lifeweaver Zen, it's a credible lack of healing, but you have a Bastion to do some damage, and Everfrog, I feel like the confidence may have just gone to their head. I
mean, it's one of two, right? Like it's either the confidence has gone to their head or they know something that we don't. And I'm very curious which it is.
You know, only time will tell here as TEC, they run out on pretty much standard here. They're going to keep the Kiriko, though, potentially a little bit worried about that Junker Queen, those antis coming through. But, you know, none of that on the other side. Meanwhile, it's just a shielded Bastion on the high ground. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, and Johannes has pinged out the Zenyatta trying to chase down the Lifeweaver just to get the high ground there. Actually, really nice play just to move over and get Reinhardt in the way to keep this Zenyatta alive, and Nevish having to drop down now. Gonna go actually, it gets a pin, and that's Ackerman down. Clobber falls as well. The comp is weird, but it does seem to be working right now.
I mean, yeah, this will be the last kill onto the Orisa here. Will Nevish have to pay for it with their life? It seems like the answer is yes.
Ooh.
Actually, Freg is still alive. Okay, I was going to say, could try to heal at the Orisa, but it seems like that is going to be another one for another day. This Juno is still actually causing problems. Unto will finally put an end to it. It seems like this Bastion's just going back to this high ground, constantly raining damage. You see, that's why TEC, they wanted to push into the firehouse, a little bit of shelter from everything else that was going on, but you know, once you're in those small walls, that's where the Reinhardt, that becomes a even more looming threat.
Absolutely. Silly why. Get back over to the team for some heals here and see if Everfrog can hold out for another push. Gonna come in on that left side for them, and again, this Bastion set up on top. Levi gets Freg out right from the get-go, so that's one pick gone. Pixels will be traded for that. And again, this is just so interesting. They're just really hard holding on this high ground. The Reinhardt and Bastion are not even involved. Stick will trade the Tracers here.
I mean, yeah, but now there's no healers, nobody but this Reinhardt and Bastion, and while this high ground is cool, it's not the point. That Rein shield has to come down eventually. It will actually be the artillery canceled immediately from the
Oh, no, it didn't even go off, and Lifeweaver shows back up. Reinhardt trying to go in. Does have Shatter ready. Not going to use it here as the Orisa ult comes out. Will be okay. Shatter goes down onto Orisa. Going to pin as well. Try to get some damage down. But it will be Nevish falling. Leewai also in the middle of a Tracer duel at the moment here. And not really going too great for Leewai. Might just have to disengage from that here. We'll get the health pack, but again, just can't find the answers, can't find the options to get in on this fight, and it does seem like TEC will get their point.
I mean, they're committing to this, though. They have the Transcendence out, so I'm
have the
sure
ball.
they're healing, but what else?
Yeah, Wrecking Ball switched into just to get over to the point here. As Clobber again on the outskirts here, losing a lot of health, will get healed up. And now continue forwards. The Wrecking Ball doing everything possible to try and contest this point. They are staggering like crazy to get this, but it is just not enough. Everfrog will lose the first point, and TEC get on to the second half of this map.
I mean, it's absolutely bizarre, right? I mean, we're seeing TEC, this, you know, semi-meta composition here. It has the Juno, the Orisa, all the bells and whistles that you need, but they're being sort of stifled and discovered by this these off-meta picks. Everfrog continuing their adaptations. A Pharaoh Rocket is nice here with a Mercy Pocket. It'll start with a nice pick for them, but how much further can they convert this?
So going in a little bit further there, and will get a little bit now moving forward even deeper in, getting on the getting onto the back line here as Baptiste will fall. And again, wow, just everywhere. Just Unto is everywhere on this Pharah, and it has actually been exactly what Everfrog seemed to need here.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you see Pixels go over to the Mercy, providing that damage boost, trying to do the extra damage here, you know, exploiting TEC's lack of hit scam player right now. It can be one of their weaknesses, like we talked about, but, you know, on the other side of things, this Terra Surge.
Now going forward here, Ackerman having to use the invulnerability here, will stay alive as Leewai goes back over, will not get the health pack in time, and Leewai falls. Zoom takes out Johannes though, and TEC losing the tank could be a pretty big deal here. Ult used from the Mercy. Unto trades 1-for-1 here. And again, it just is not a whole lot of ground gained by either side right now.
No, it is not. That Res does manage to connect at the cost of Pixel's life, though. So, I mean, you're still in this staggered out fight, but this should be the ending of it with Freg's Orbital Ray.
Yeah, and that is a lot put down there. TEC, they get their win, but they have used a lot of ultimates to do so. They really only have clobbers. Meanwhile, on the other hand, they've got the Ana ult ready. Also have the Reinhardt almost ready to go as well.
Shatter can be massive in this next fight. It's going to be something to watch out for, but also, you know, potentially trying to find wherever this damage goes. Yeah, they already know Clobber going into the back line.
They're getting on to Levi, who has swapped over to this Widowmaker, which might be a little bit of a rough move here with how Clobber is just diving into the backline, getting a little bit of heals, but not going to get to the health pack in time. Clobber successfully takes out that sniper. Now Nevish still looking forward here. Earthshatter's ready to go, but they've not been able to use it just yet.
No, but they haven't really needed to, right? The Tracer now blinking after trying to remove Pixels from the fight. That recall will mean potentially there's a reset here, but you still have 3 members and they can threaten the cart pretty heavily.
Now push forward. We're down to 12 seconds left as it is all down to this. TEC need to push here. They need to find something. The payload is moving back. They've got to touch it soon. They do grab it now. It might almost get capped. No. Gets stopped. Nevish gets pushed away, but they've got to hold on here. They cannot give any more ground. Ult used by Orisa. And they will actually take one down. Levi falls as the Reinhardt pushed away. They're so close to getting onto this point. They just need a little bit further. Unto gonna open up opportunities here as the Judo falls, and as this Widowmaker might just be enough here. No, getting chased down and will fall as well. I think TEC might just have it.
It might be at the 12th hour as the Pulse Bomb goes wide here. The Rhine can't live long enough, and this should be the end of it unless this Cassidy can do something.
Getting in there, but the Baptiste involved is enough, and that will be the second point capped here. TEC close, but they do manage to touch, and they have one more move on the map to go.
Heading into point C now, a bit of a notoriously sticky position to get all the way to the end here. You're seeing Unto over to the Hanzo now instead of that Widowmaker. Some more consistent damage in exchange for potentially some quicker one-shots. As Everfrog, you know, they recognize where their opponents are. A nice little anti is simply just going to be a minuscule deterrent for TEC.
They have netted the Rhine going in here. Does not have Earth Shatter just yet. Arisa very, very low, and Rhine coming in from behind might just take her out. Nice shots from Levi on the Cassidy, and will hit the high dude for that one. And that is a solidly won fight by Everfrog here.
Yeah, and I mean, something to highlight though for TEC is this Orisa is not dying. Everfrog can find picks onto everybody else, but even when Johannes is incredibly low in these fights, the Orisa manages to get out and get healed up thanks to this Baptiste and this Juno here, and it's what's giving TEC such good sustain and such potential as they're gonna need for this overtime push.
Yeah, and again, they have a long way to go if they want to cap this the whole way in here. 3 seconds before we go into overtime. There is damage done on the Tracer. Will not get the nade down in time, and Nevish falling here. That's the opening that TEC may have wanted here. Pixels just going in, trying to just battle Mercy it out, but will not, and that is a full team kill here as Everfrog. They might have one more chance to stop this.
Yeah, but they burned every tool in their bank. Nothing to their name here, as now you have Ackerman with an amplification matrix and Coughlin coming closer and closer to that pulse bomb, either of which just need one pick to stop the defense in its tracks.
Wall put up here by Unto, who has swapped on to the May. Coughlin gonna take out Levi. They did not get the whole way in. They C9'd it, and that is so unfortunate there. Oh my goodness.
I think based on the positioning, I think everyone expected Johannes to stay on the point, but because of how long it was in overtime, the Orisa taking one step too far forward meant nobody was on it, and that wick just bleeds away. That being said, considering how that map was going, you're pretty much there. I think it was 2 meters away from that full cap here. So you've set a high bar for Everfrog to now have to try to follow on the other side of things. But I mean, it's just, this match has just been so confusing. It feels like Everfrog is bringing out this level of chaos that TEC, you know, they're trying to, you know, play around in it, try to go down to their level, but you never want to try to beat somebody at their own game. They're just too damn good at it.
Yeah, Everfrog really did find their opportunities here, and I kind of saw it right from the get-go. The weird comp that held off a little bit longer than I think we expected here. But this time around now, going to be going on the offense. Like you said, has to go very far, but it is a surmountable thing in front of them. They have the opportunity to surpass and take a 2-0 lead on TEC, who have only dropped 3 maps, including the one in this series. So, Everfrog, can they pull off the upset here? Can they put themselves on game point?
Oh my, wait, the hog's going over. No, surely not.
No, they get the kill on Coplin. Immediate pick there. And Nevish right from the get-go getting a solid win. They're going to chase off here with Levi here. Everfrog very much in control here. Unto in trouble though, will fall, and Zoom goes down as well. It is 2 for 2 overall.
2 for 2 back and forth here. The Roadhog incredibly low in the backline. Does manage to find another pick before finally going down here. But I mean, this should stifle the attack for the time being, right? Not having your tank is just going to be a death sentence here. And again, Johannes on this Orisa is just far too tanky, just been too survivable, living way too long in these engagements.
Now, Everfrog repositioning here, looking for their other option. They're still sticking with what they have here, the Lifeweaver and such. I am surprised at how much they're sticking with this.
I mean, listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it here. As, you know, maybe it finally is starting to break.
Yeah, I was going to say, looks a little broken at the moment. Everfrog's already lost 3.
I mean, hey, they can make it a 4th and a 5th, just like that, see?
Yeah. I mean, hey, technically, like, the number's going up. Does that mean it's working or not working? Because to me, number up means good, right?
I feel like somebody's playing golf somewhere and can contradict all of the numbers, but regardless of that...
Do I seem like a golf player?
I don't think anybody seems like a golf player. Just people who want to waste their time. Speaking of wasting time, Deadeye.
I knew now, and that will be Levi grabbing at least one there, and is the tank going down. Nice headshot as well. Everfrog, they've found their opportunity. Clobber's showing up there, will get a lot of damage. Just bounced around in the air. Doesn't get to touch the ground, and Everfrog, they are going to claim their point here. Maybe another push, but I think it's a little bit too late here. Everfrog, grab point number 1.
They grab point number 1 after, you know, a bit of a silly comp. The Roadhog, unfortunately, had to be dealt away with, but TEC, for their defense here, they have plenty of tools to work with still. Every single ultimate online now. The question is, how much do they want to invest to actually getting a good defensive position?
Yeah, Molten Core used as TEC looking for their first hold in the second half here. There are lots of Judo ults put down. Ult from the Zenyatta as well on Ackerman, who just falls immediately afterward. Unto is also traded. Pixel's gone as well. Everfrog, they're losing a little bit more than they're grabbing on the other end, and they will have to reset.
Yeah, but TEC just went from a full bank of ults to now just a Bob. Don't really know why there was that much of an investment here, but you're seeing just the raw damage trying to come through to help turn this fight.
Yeah, Bob coming out to replace the Ashe that has fallen. Levi trying to get damage down, will help out, doesn't even need it. The rest of the team in control here, and a bunch of lost fights here. TEC gonna go down, and it'll be a solid push here with the time remaining for Everfrog.
Just some poor core tricks from Nevish here. As Everfrog, yeah, I mean, they now have all of the momentum behind them. Another Deadeye queued up, as well as a Terror Surge to combo with it. So pull them all together and let the Cowboy cook.
And there is the ult. Nevish grabs just the the Baptiste Embolden there is just gonna stand in front, hope the cooldown never ends. Eventually it will though, and with the tank gone, Everfrog in shambles. Their push seems pretty much done here. May trying to hold out as long as possible, but I think you don't want to stagger this too much longer.
Nope, you just want to get back to your team. Beautiful defensive fight for the side of TEC. Now, heading into this next one, they're coming up on their own Terra Surge, as well as that Tectonic Shock from the Venture. Clobber, you know, hasn't had the greatest of highlights we normally expect from this Venture player, but with everybody playing the low ground as Everfrog currently is, this could be the time to shake the earth.
Possibly. The push is still going here, and we're seeing TEC a little bit backwards on this. The Judo ult is pulled out, but that is 2 members down. Coughlin and Clobber out for TEC. Pixels has fallen as well. There's the May ult, which will give a lot of space here, which could be really, really important here. Nevish losing HP rapidly, and while they've gotten so very close to the point, I don't think Everfrog can get it on this push.
I don't think they can either, but again, it's a heavy invest from both sides, maybe a little bit heavier on the side of TEC, where they dump 4 ultimates in once again here. Oh, but Clobber might get caught out.
Clobber going down would be really bad here. Johannes is here to get this Venture out, and Haidun used. Levi got a trade for the other Cassidy now. Beat used as well for Everfrog. They need the HP to get in here. They only have 45 seconds. If they don't get it on this push, they're down to a single push left, and every second they use on this one could take away from a second on another push.
It could indeed, but it seems like the cleanup is here. It's finally been done, and that'll be point B going to Everfrog here. TEC, again, it just feels very uncharacteristic for them. They seem a little bit sloppy. Their coordination is not as good here. They're taking a lot of solo fights, and it's hindering them greatly here. Now, in our final point, with just under 2 minutes in the bank, you're seeing Devish with another Terra Surge locked and loaded. But TEC, you know, we have a Deadeye to try to counter it out. Maybe make that Orisa scared to stand still for too long.
Minute 30 on the clock. Remember, Everfrog need to get most of the way there. TEC did not get all the way to the end, but they got pretty darn close to it. Everfrog cannot waste a whole lot of time here. Clobber getting in, and that's Unto down. Levi as well. Everfrog not going to get it on this push, and that is extremely unfortunate. 1 minute left on the clock.
I mean, that Terra Surge, it was enough by itself here, and this is the TEC we know and love, right? Being a little bit measured with this ult usage, not having to over-invest. Now, with under a minute, like you said, it is going to be about this investment into the next fight for TEC. How much do they have to commit before, you know, they can win it? But Coughlin gone!
Coughlin falling is not good. Johannes is also going to go down. That's the tank line. And TEC in shambles now. Clobber just barely alive. Not going to get to the HP in time. And this is a big, big push for Everfrog.
Yeah, I mean, none of those members died on point until Ackerman at the very end here. Thankfully, the group respawn feature is a thing here as the defense is coming out with 4 ultimates to work with for what could be the final fight. Pixels only having this orbital ray. It could be the difference between Everfrog's life and death here, so it has to be crucially timed.
They're traded just at the same time here. They're going to try and move up with it. They're getting forward here. Zoom goes down. Pixels is gone. That's it. They're not going to get it. They only have Levi left, and he's going to get pushed away. Everfrog just barely held off by TEC.
And that ties us up 1-1 here. It's very unorthodox, very sloppy. Both squads just throwing everything in the kitchen sink into these fights. But it seems like for the Midtown that it was the side of TEC that came out on top here. But I mean, props has to be given to Levi. Levi was doing stuff like this all map long. Yeah. Absolute menace on the DPS line right now. And, you know, I feel like with how this series has been going, I feel like we've got the distance to run.
It is going to be back and forth for sure. I mean, I think the biggest thing to take away for that is TEC got the point, but I don't think in the controlled way that we really have wanted to see from them in terms of just bouncing back, right? Like we said, they want to be in control. They seem like the stronger team going into today. They lose map 1. They barely win map number 2, and things sure are tied up, but it doesn't feel like it.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't feel like it, but at the end of the day, you know, it doesn't matter what it feels like. It matters what it is here.
I mean, that's true.
But I mean, yeah,
true.
no, I absolutely get the scrappy feeling. But I mean, hey, listen, it's been some intense action, so both teams are going to take a bit of a breather here. But make sure you stick around to get back to us on the other side of this break, because this series is one you certainly do not want to miss.
water is the softest and most yielding substance.
And welcome back, everybody. We are tied 1-1 between Everfrog and TEC, a position we did not expect to be in, but we are now moving on to Clash, our third map here. Again, I am Thousand Eyes alongside Megalas. And Megalas, are you ready for some Clash?
I mean, I feel like Clash with these two teams, like, I'm normally not excited for Clash, but right now I'm really excited for Clash. Like, these two teams, for the record, I mean, it's been a back and forth affair, like, absolutely. But, like, not in terms of, like, oh, they're really good, skilled matched up against each other. Like, it has just been chaos incarnate. People are making crazy hero swaps. The plays are unreal. Clutch factor is at an all-time high for determining these fights and these maps. And, you know, Clash enables all of those things tenfold. So we'll have to see who can actually have it here to try to take the lead in the series.
I mean, I think the crazy thing, too, is like, snowballing is so scary on Clash. As we have our maps selected here, we're going to be looking at Throne of Anubis for our Clash map, which is mostly what I've seen. But it is very much, you could snowball this out of control very, very fast. I think there was a game yesterday that was a total of 3 minutes. It just we started, immediate capping the point, immediate just end. It was wild. And we'll see. Hopefully we get a little bit more back and forth on this one.
I mean, we were talking about it this morning when we had Hanaoka coming up, but the record for CGL right now is 2 minutes and 9 seconds. So those of you in Twitch chat, if you want to bust out the stopwatch here, see if either of these teams is about to set a record. But even when you're snowballing, right, to go that fast, you know, there still has to be some stuff about you that's making it that much easier for you. Everfrog, they're going to go back to the bread and butter. This Junker Queen we saw from them on Samoa, which looks so unbelievably strong. Meanwhile, TEC, they're going to stick with what they like, right? Johanna's on the Orisa, surviving forever. Some nice healing with the Baptiste Juno to keep them alive. And, of course, Clobber's going to teleport everybody out before that Venture comes out to run amok and recap.
Yeah, we're going to get to our first point. Both teams teleporting out of the base. Solidly different compositions here. TEC kind of running what we have seen the whole time here, but now Genji coming out as well as the Junker Queen here. A little bit of back and forth as now Everfrog moving in. Jihadis in trouble, left alone as Clobber goes down, and Jihadis will have to drop back here. Point currently being capped at the moment, and I don't know if there's really a way forward for TEC. They're just kind of falling, and point one gonna go over to Everfrog.
And we're seeing TEC, they're playing more passive. I'm not sure for the reason or anything behind it, but they're paying for it in spades here. This healing from Ackerman just wasn't enough to keep that Coughlin alive in the fight here, but it has been traded back and forth, so it should be TEC at least holding for the time being, but I would not be surprised to see Everfrog, once they get all 5 members back, make a good contest and a good fight for this point.
Yeah. TEC have grounded themselves pretty strongly, pushing in here. Already have halfway captured this point. Just gonna jump in and immediately take Pixels out, just not prepared. As Coughlin trading on the other side as well. A solid win for TEC. Although point currently being capped here, they need to get on that. They will succeed in doing so. And I don't think they're gonna get this the whole way while they're gone, though.
No, but I mean, Everfrog probably is going to be willing to give this up, set themselves up for point D. That being said, they're rampaging in!
Yeah, they're just going directly in, and Coughlin gonna go down immediately. Nevish on the point just to stop the cap here. Is contested, gonna go back to neutral as well, and this has been a solid retake, although TEC starting to get some kills. Unto trades for Freg as Clobber takes out Leeway and Nevish. And while Everfrog moved in, it was a little bit too quick. TEC seemingly going to cap this point.
And this is what I was worried about, right? If you overcommit and you can't actually convert the fight, you've now put yourself behind the 8-ball, right? Investing 2 major ultimates, both your Kitsune Rush and that Rampage, to come up without that fight win. Now TEC has the momentum. They can start a snowball going their way here because they have so many different tools to work with.
Now, moving back over to this centralized point here. Remember, this is the one TEC had already lost on the get-go here. Clobber getting some heals, jumping straight in. Big ult, but Johannes doesn't pop it in time, and that's the tank gone for TEC. Everfrog popping the beat as well. They're just using everything. They want to cap this point, get back to where they were in that lead spot, and they will be successful at doing it.
And, you know, the lead here, and again, considering the advantage that was coming into that with TEC, right? The fact that they've now survived the Orbital Ray and that Terra Surge is massive here. You know, it's just about being able to continue their momentum forward here, not getting picked out like they did before. Clobber is trying to push everybody back, but having to use that burrow just to get away.
Now going in, Nevish deep in the fight here, taking a lot of damage and not going to survive that one. The rest of the team also falling apart. No supports, no tanks. Leeway and Unto also on the run. A staggered kill there as Leeway seems to get away. And TEC, they push it back.
They push it back for the time being, but you're seeing TEC, they're playing forward because they don't want another touch to come through onto this point. It seems like Everfrog is going to oblige them this time, but a bit of a swap, no more Sojourn in play. Instead, we are over to my favorite character, the Reaper guy. It is, you know, an interesting swap here. Try to punish in this closer range affair. But, I mean, I'm sure the Orisa Fortify is more than content with dealing with him. Ooh. Oh my goodness!
The Reaper coming out. Unto grabbing the kill on Coughlin, and lots of damage being put down, although Unto just walks directly into a bomb that explodes as Johannes also taking out Nevish. TEC, they are currently winning the fight, although right now they need to get on to the point. It has been heavily capped by Everfrog, and if they can hold out on this till the rest of the team shows up, it could be a big deal. Deadeye is enough, though, and Leeway will go down. TEC now on the cap here, and Everfrog need to get on the retake.
Yeah, it's going to be a shout in here, but both supports traded.
Going in, Clobber looking to go in as well, as Clobber's just demolishing everybody. It's a clean fight by TEC, and for the first time this map, they have taken the lead.
Taking the lead, they have momentum behind them here. Everfrog, they're not able, you know, get to these ults as quickly here. It feels like TEC is starting to lap them in that regard a little bit. Terra Surge now going to be online very soon to potentially try to help secure this first point, but you know, it's going to be on Everfrog here to try to start retaking some of this space so the fight just doesn't completely fade away from them.
Moving forward, Immortality Field down. Nevish doing some work here. Acrobat going to fall, but Leeway and Zoom are already down. Nevish actually going to get that kill on Coughlin. Crucial there for Everfrog to be able to try and go for this retake. They need to go for it soon, because that would be match point if TEC can grab this, but they have been pushed away. Clobber having to back off there, will go down eventually, and Everfrog have gained the point, and they are trying to cap it now themselves.
It's going to be hard, though. I mean, both teams are still there.
Unto using the Reaper ult, grabs at least one, but Pixels Leeway able to clean up the rest, and Everfrog will get their third point. We are even once again.
Even once again, that Terra Surge still sitting in Johanna's back pocket here. Might be waiting for Coughlin to get this Deadeye so unbelievably close, but close might not count when Everfrog is looking down the barrel of another Rampage from the Shunker Queen, and Leeway with the Dragon Blade coming up in the clutch could be massive here.
Oh, we're just going directly in. Takes Freg with them, and that'll be Nevish grabbing the support. Trades his life for it, though. Coughlin trying to make up here for the lack of supports, but the tanks are gone. Zoom with the beat enough as well. Both support ults used, and that does seem like it might be enough. Everfrog, they are certainly winning the fight, and they will start capping this point, and I think they're going to have it. They're going to be on match point.
Off match point, and currently Leeway, Blade is looking more and more scary. You know, on the other side of things, Clobber does have another Tectonic Shock as well as Ackerman's Amplification Matrix, both tools that can create immense amount of space, potentially pressure this Genji away, but they have to make sure they do that because right now they're in a situation where one pick could determine everything.
Exactly. One mistake puts TEC not only against the wall here, but against the wall for the first time in a series. So they need to play carefully. Everfrog currently playing a bit from this high ground. TEC have a little bit of cap on this point. They are actually getting pretty far along. A move is going to need to be made here.
And there it is, the Blade.
Blade coming through. Levi gets a couple, and that's 2 down, 3 down even. Clobber goes away as well. Coughlin trades onto Levi, but Freg goes down too. It's down to the Tracer alone. Can Unto do it? Just pops the ult for it.
I mean, yeah, but this is surely to be contested by both squads here. TEC also has ultimates to work with should they choose to invest into this, but it is just going to be another fight on point here.
They have C9 once before. TEC need to be aware because they do not want to lose this one. They didn't get punished for it. Coughlin falls. Johannes goes down. That might be it. It's not even going to be a C9. It's just going to be a lost fight. Clobber going to have to make something out of nothing. Gets shot out of the air. Can't even get it on the point.
Now, I mean, this could be it. The ults are being thrown in, but I don't know if they have enough manpower to get this flipped.
Yeah, exactly. The beat used. Pixel's in a little bit of trouble. Johannes is back here. Everfrog holding out pretty strong. Ult used by Johannes, but it's not enough. 3 are down. They cap the point. And Everfrog, the first team to ever take 2 maps off TEC, and they are on match point.
I mean, I think technically not. I think both their previous map loss came in one series, but that's fine. We don't look at that.
All right.
My bad. But yeah, I mean, still, this is the first time they find themselves behind the barrel in this sort of situation, right? They're down, series on the line, the mid-season tournament, their entire life on the line. You have to remember, mid-season, it's a single elim bracket, one and done matches here. And Everfrog, I mean, again, we talked about going into this, it could be a David versus Goliath situation, but Everfrog has come in like Little Mac from Punch-Out, just ready with these uppercuts. Absolutely delivering haymaker after haymaker onto a TEC squad that just doesn't seem prepared for him.
Yeah, it's now scary. TEC are in a position they are just very unfamiliar in here, and they've got to find answers, I think, right now, because it has been 2 maps now, even 3 if you want to count some of the fights in Midtown, where they have just not seem to find strong answers to what is being thrown in front of them, and they've been able to get some wins. They've been able to compete. All of these, I mean, outside the Samoa is a little bit of an outlier, but the other 2 maps have been very closely contested. It's been pretty back and forth, but now TEC, how do they handle the pressure?
I mean, how they handle the pressure is going to determine everything here, right? When your back's against the wall, this is where we really get the true litmus test of how you are as a team, whether you will rise to the occasion and get ready for your opponents, or if you might start bickering and it might devolve into something more where you just lose your chaos, you lose your energy and things like that. Next map up could determine everything here. We have to remember, for our 4th map, we have Flash and Push kind of smushed together in one mode. So that actually, it provides an interesting dynamic, right? Because both those modes, while they have their similarities, definitely can be different in terms of snowballing momentum and, just overall comfort across what teams would want here. So while we are just looking and waiting, I think we actually have some people that are resetting in the lobby. But yeah, I mean, for what we expected of this game, it's been amazing.
It's been so back and forth, and kind of like you said, like you have Flashpoint, which is just like, all right, there's every individual capture point is kind of its own thing. So like, do you want to take that? Because if you fall behind, well, okay, next point is a new point completely. We're starting over. In Push, you could get a crazy lead and then just have to go so far just to match it. Which can be a little scary, but it's also a little bit more back and forth, a little bit more fluid. You know, what do these teams favor is really the thing in question.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of discussions to be had about this, right? You know, discussion from TEC about, you know, making sure that everybody's in synergy on the same page, trying to follow up on this damage coming out from your Orisa and your other sources, potentially peeling, trying to keep your backline alive. Meanwhile, Everfrog, again, it just, you know, the comps they're running, the Junker Queen, the Rhine when it comes out, things like that, like, they just seem to be, you know, having more fun. And while, you know, it leads to some chaotic fight losses where they're investing for no reason or things like that, you know, overall, they have the energy and they have this just sort of, you know, power behind them right now that seems like they can do no wrong.
Yeah, it's you know, right now, Everfrog have to be so happy with themselves, you know, and it's so weird because like there's not a lot of times where I see like 2-1s that feel like there's so much momentum behind them at this point. As we did get our map selection here, it is going to be Cervasa for our flashpoint here, so we're going to be getting flashpoint. But Everfrog feel like the momentum is like super heavy in their favor right now.
Yeah, and this could be a good way to stifle it. Like you said, each individual point, you can treat it separately, you know, build those ultimates and just sort of play the team fights accordingly from there. Push, you do have to worry about the momentum and snowball potential here. So I think it makes tons of sense as we're getting another look here. No substitutions made ever since Coughlin came in. It seems like this is the hill TEC is prepared to die on, but I know this squad, they're not prepared to die just yet. They're not done, and they're going to be giving it everything they have here on Cervasa.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting here because, like we said, Flashpoint, every point is different. You can go down, you know, 2 points, and it's fine because you're technically always available. Hello, Gator. He's happy today. He's just...
It is Flat Friend Word Friday. Remember that.
I just immediately imagine him just going like, "Hello," just like coming out of the water. And, hello,
I'm here. I'm a gator.
Dirty gator.
But no alligators are in our conversation. Simply, we have an amphibian Everfrog playing the frog. Just realized that they've been doing a lot of Lucio today, but they're on their Junker Queen. They're going to keep the Reaper adaptation though from the last map here, try to punish Johannes even further on this Orisa.
I mean, that's the thing Everfrog has seemed to have, just adaptation after adaptation. They're never afraid to change things up and just play against the meta versus like Clobber, who runs off meta but has been sticking with this venture this entire time. As Coughlin already using the recall in this fight, trying to poke out a little bit, but TEC have already kind of lost control of this point a little bit. They've got to win a fight here, and they're getting the tank out is a good way to start that.
Massive way to start. It should just be a simple cap after the fact there, but actually Everfrog gets first cap as TEC is a little bit split.
Yeah, Everfrog actually get it because TEC are just too focused on the fight itself, and that's going to, at the minimum, give them at least a couple ticks here, which could come in clutch if this turns into a back-and-forth battle. But it will be capped again by TEC, so they are going to start ticking up that timer themselves.
And that timer is something we worry about. Nevesh making some interesting swaps over to the Doomfist before coming back to the Junker Queen here. And now they are just having to clear out, make sure this Tracer's not lurking in their backline as they know the Pulse Bomb may be imminent.
Yeah. Blade is coming out. See how much we can get out of that there. Judo is going to go down. It seems like it's just going to be Frag, but the pressure allows for Johannes to fall as well. And now Unto moving forward. Zoom grabs Coughlin, and Everfrog, in the meantime, they have already capped the point. They are just chasing out the remnants of TEC.
And they're doing it just, again, with another dominant team fight win, right? Terror Surge and the Orbital Ray, not enough for TEC to win that last fight here. So this, now going into this one, Everfrog with a nice advantage in terms of their number of their ultimates, but it is going to probably be a Kitsune Mirror here to determine this next fight.
Stick is also available. Coughlin actually throws out the bomb, doesn't get anything with it, and is on 9 HP, actually on 0 as Unto grabs that one. And that is again a lost fight there. Unto grabbing 2 kills. They're gonna desperately try to get in on here just to buy time, get into overtime territory. They just gotta wait for Clobber to come out and chase out at minimum there, grab the kill as well, and first point go over to Everfrog.
Everfrog currently got that first point, and they did it without too much invested. Like we said, they just ended up trading those Kitsune rushes here in their favor. Now still with the sound barrier to keep themselves healthy through this tectonic shock, as well as a wide variety of tools to help ensue the fight win with massive damage. I mean, Everfrog's clearly favored.
I mean, Everfrog are already on the point here. They've gotten the first move, and we see Leeway pushing in. Zoom's going to grab the kill onto Coughlin as Leeway getting damage down. Unto helping out. Johannes will fall. Nevish grabs Freg as well. Clobber going down. Unto has fallen, but at the cost of 4 members of TEC. And Everfrog already starting to gain some percentage on the second point.
And TEC, it's starting to feel like the pressure is getting to them, right? They're not coming up with the picks they normally will. Clobber is being found time and again here. I feel like it's going to require a bit of an aggressive push.
Yeah, Unto grabbing another kill as well. Just teleports out as well. Wild use of the shadow step there, and Unto continuing the assault. Pixels grabs Clobber, and Everfrog again. Their defense has been pretty darn strong once they've gotten the point. 67% of the way there.
Everfrog's best defense is a good offense, but they've just been charging forward.
Yeah, and there is the blade again, and every single fight, it's just starting off with an Everfrog pick. They are getting win after win. They are at the spawn point right now. They get a team kill. Point 2 is going to tick over, and now Everfrog 2-0 up.
One more point to send them to the grand finals. A massive upset. TEC on the back foot. They don't want to give this up, but they're being met time and again with something they're just not ready for.
Clobber in trouble here. Will jump down into the ground, try and buy time, and gets a little bit of help there as Nevish will go down. Zoom as well. And Everfrog finally pushed back here. Pixels falls. Unto gone too. Point not unlocked yet, though. And TEC have a bit to go. This is going to just end up being a reset. They don't get anything off of these kills.
Well, they should be able to get at least the first cap here before Everfrog is truly ready to engage, making sure their supports are back, their ducks are in a row. But TEC does have the ult advantage once again here, but that advantage is quickly fading.
Yeah, Zoom and Leeway already grabbing 2 kills, a third going down as well. And they don't even need to fight on the point. They've pushed them away and grabbed the point. Another team kill for Everfrog.
Everfrog is playing so fast. This aggression is just simply unmatched here. TEC, they're not handling it well at all here. They've got to be able to actually convert some of these fights, but that could be a good start.
Big start for them. 2 kills. They're using the Reaper ult, but it's not really gaining them a whole lot here. Nevish pushing forward, grabs Coughlin. And it is still a bit of a rough fight here for Everfrog. They've been pushed away, and while it wasn't a clean, hard win, TEC get the positional advantage and grab the point. Unto will go down as well as Pixels, which just buys a little bit more time.
And, you know, in the backline, meanwhile, Everfrog gets another flip into this. So while TEC is going to be able to get in, this is valuable percentage that is being lost right now simply from a point contest and could put Everfrog in a one-fight territory.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's just, even if they cap it here, it's going to get 75%, 76, 77. Which on Flashpoint ticks so fast. You are basically in one fight territory there. TEC grab it, but now they need to hold the defense strong.
And they have to do it for not just this point, for 2 more potentially after it, so they can't dump into this fight. They have to measure themselves, not overinvest.
Coughlin in trouble. Deadeye's gonna come out. Big Orisa ult, but not going to get the Deadeye down because Leeway grabs the reflect there. Unto taking out Ackerman. Clobber going down. TEC not going to be able to grab this point, not going to finish it off. They've got to hope they can get this single retake and Johannes can stay alive. Frank goes down. That's so bad because Johannes will fall next. And now they've got to wait and hope they can get it overtime.
They're surging forward, though. They smell the blood in the water. The championship is theirs. It's so close to the grand finals.
Everfrog have pushed them away, and they grab the final point here in dominating fashion. Everfrog grab map number 4 and will put themselves in the finals.
What a powerhouse display. An upset and a half for sure here. TEC, we've been heralding them for so long here in EU PC Open, but it seems like mid-season was just simply not their destiny. I mean, just Everfrog comes in, they do it in an unorthodox fashion, sheer unrelenting aggression, getting the job done for them here, and now they find themselves set in that grand final matchup.
I mean, what a series, right? Like, we didn't get to that final map that we were kind of hoping for, but we got we got such a story out of it, and in all of the games that I cast, it's rare that you get that opportunity where you go in and say like, this seems like it should be one team with a pretty solid win, and you just see such a strong upset. Everfrog looked so good today.
I mean, good is an understatement, right? I mean, they absolutely looked incredible here. And, if they're able to keep performing like this, I mean, when the pressure's on, that's when, it really comes push to shove here. So, now with them securing that spot, it will be amazing. But, while we can sing their praises all day long, Thousand Eyes, I think that they're going to be able to do a better job of it themselves. So if you'll give us time at home to set up a quick little interview with Pixels from the side of Everfrog, we'll be right back.
after a hard-fought victory here. Everfrog do get to take away the win, and we are here with Pixels from Everfrog. Pixels, first off, congratulations on the win. How are you guys feeling after a pretty solid upset victory?
So first of all, hello. Thanks for having me here. Pretty happy we won the game. I mean, at the beginning we were, kind of confident, and then we started trolling a bit, as you saw in the second game. But we eventually pulled ourselves together and got it.
Understandably. I mean, speaking of the trolling here, and what has been simply establishing itself as a very Orisa Juno Brig meta, you guys simply had your own way about it. Is this just a style you ended up developing, or just is everybody on comfort heroes?
It's not really comfort heroes, it's just the meta, and we were like, okay, let's try it. Turns out to be pretty okay for us. Normally we like to run Kirk or Queen, something like that, but like we also run the meta sometimes, which is also good for us.
I mean, hey, yeah, that is true. But, looking forward here, you do now have yourselves a date in the grand finals against 0907. I got the chance to talk to them earlier when they won, and the exact words in that interview were, it's going to be a 3-0 easy. So maybe if you have anything to elaborate back to 0907.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, like, I'm not really familiar with the roster. I think they have Turbo Smooth, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it's going to be 3-0. Like, I'm going to be realistic. I think it's going to be a close match. I don't know. I feel like we will win. Like, I don't think they're that good, to be honest.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. Feeling confident. Well, last thing I want to ask you, Pixels, here is, do you have anybody you want to shout out, whether it be coaches, analysts, or just people in your life that have supported you to get to this point?
Yeah, so first of all, shout out to my team, Everfrog, all of the members, my coach, my managers, and yeah, shout out to my family. They have been very supportive. Without them, I wouldn't be here today. And yeah, that's it.
All right, well, thank you, Pixels, for the interview, and thank you, Megalast, for being here through this wild series that we had today. That, I believe, is really going to be it for us here today. There will be games later on tonight. I actually do, we can take a look at them here once again. We went over them at the start. So we do have, I'm going to let you take the team names again, because I don't feel comfortable trying to say these.
Listen, you have big T-Tar Fan 600 versus, I don't know what their actual team name is supposed to sound like, but I just say microwave noises. Because that's funnier to me, which that should be a good match. And then you have Dacker Sun versus Mental Institution. That's, again, two undefeated teams are going to be slamming into each other there from our NA console open. So that's the great thing about midseason. Like we said at the top of the hour, it's the gift that keeps on giving more and more matches here to go throughout the rest of the weekend.
Absolutely there. But that is going to be it for us for this series. Again, thank you, Megalast, for being here with me. Thank you guys for all being here watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.